to the United States of America podcast. I hope everybody is doing well today. I'm having a little, obviously, technical difficulty. There we go. How's everybody doing? I hope that you are all well. It is the 24th of July. And you know what? I told Anna to take a break because she has a broken foot. She is going up against the banks, and she is every day she is doing her job. She shows up all the time, and she's doing all of that with a broken foot, managing a lot of folks who are part of the federation there, that they're all aging, and she's having to help and manage all of that. And we're having to rearrange the schedule a little bit for the podcast, which I think it might change again. Looks like I'm scared to even say what the time is going to be, but this is what I'll say is pay attention to the link when we set it up, because we are going to have to change it again. But today, what I wanted to do was I wanted to go over what does Anna do? What is her work? What's her actual job? Because I don't think that people really know how she's working for all the living people. So, what Anna's focus is basically a trifecta, right? What she's trying to do is she believes that for all men to be free from bondage, okay, for all men to be free or sovereign, as people call it, you can't be sovereign unless and until you're financially sovereign. So her first systemic solution was to create a bilateral banking system. Okay, that's the first thing. The other thing is, she's teaching and talking about the incorporated versus the unincorporated. And the final third item is, what is lawful versus legal? And that's tied together with being incorporated and being unincorporated. And she's doing all of this work knowing that it's basically, dead corporations versus living people. But it's bigger than even that. It's a spiritual war. It's a spiritual war, and the evil forces have been on earth for quite some time, but they're circling the drain. Evil is dying. And because evil's dying, it's dying because people are becoming aware of what is evil, like lying. And people are, lying every day, and they don't realize that they're lying because they've been raised by the corporatocracy, and they've been trained to be polite, to be politically correct, to be religious, and to operate in fear. So I wanted to give a demonstration of the kind of work that Anna does, because there are a lot of people around on this earth, all over the earth. There's many living men all over the earth that don't know how to read, that don't know about Anna, that don't know about this work. And Anna didn't do any of this by herself. And Anna isn't the first one to do it either. Okay. There have been many, many thousands of living men who have worked to report this great fraud. And they have tried to bring the great fraud to light. And they have tried to help, to free all living men from bondage. But the reason that it's so tough to do is because everyone has their own free will. God gave everyone our creator gave us all free will. All right, whether you're God or your creator, whatever, your creator gave you free will. And so you get to choose what you want to do. You get to choose. You get to choose whatever it is that you want. And when you do not know the truth, when you do not have knowledge of the truth, then you just might not make a very good decision. You just might not. And so I thought it would be really interesting to offer a little insight to some of the work that these folks have done, and what I think it's really important for everybody here to comprehend that 900 Americans went before the Pope, had an audience with the Pope, and were like, we're done. We're done with evil. We are done with all evil. And it wasn't like, just Anna. It's not like everybody's all like, Anna is the savior or something like that. This isn't about Anna. This is much bigger than that. And for anyone to act like, there's a lot of people everybody's blaming somebody for something. Sometimes you just blaming even yourself. You've been really good at not loving yourself. So it is first my encouragement that you should love yourself. Okay. And then if you do actually love yourself, then you should want to seek the truth. So you could just stop lying to yourself about all the people that have been, involved in ruining your life or not allowing you to be able to do what it is that you want to do. Because every day you get up and every morning when you wake up out of your slumber, you have a choice and you get to choose if you want to feel sorry for yourself, if you just want to lay in the bed all day, if you want to get up and go run, if you want to get up and go lie, if you want to get up and go harm people, if you want to get up and go cook for people, or you want to do something or go love people. You get to choose every day, whenever it is that you wake up out of your slumber, and you get to choose. You get to choose in every moment what it is that you want to do. What are you going to choose to do in this moment? Okay? Like, you get to choose to come tune into this podcast. I didn't tell anybody to be here. So, if you choose to show up here, then, welcome. Be kind, behave, be nice. Let's learn together, okay? And if you don't want to be here, you get to choose not to be here. You get to choose not to watch this. If you want to know something funny, we don't care. We just gonna love you anyway. We are just gonna love you anyway. Nobody here is looking for you to follow them. No one's looking for you to pay us anything or to do anything. No one's judging you or blaming you, okay? No one, not us. Not any of us. All we're doing is trying to shine a light on the knowledge of the truth so that you can choose to either follow the path or don't follow the path. If you don't want to follow the path, we don't care. We just don't. But if you want to follow the path, we're going to shine a light on the truth. We're not asking you to do anything. Nobody's asking you for anything. Anna has never asked you for anything except for to just know the truth. Every day people come here and ask her what she's going to do for them, but she's never asked you for anything. Never. Well, she did tell you she needs some shekels if you want to help continue her work. But look at what she's doing. Look at what she's doing. Okay, let's just take a look at this. Can y'all see this? Because this is about as big as I can make it. So I'm going to do the best that I can in going over this with you. And I'm going to trust that you guys know how to increase your screen so that you can see it better or whatever. Okay. But let's talk about this. All right. This is from Anna's articles. If you go to her website, annavonreitz.com, and you punch in, commercial lien, then this is what's going to come up. Or it might be one of the things that comes up. And it's the American Bar Association and International Bar Association. This is an international commercial lien, okay, that Anna, along with many other people, put together. And they put it against this. Let's just read this. This happened on October 15th, and it says, this is a verified plain statement of fact. All right. This is an affidavit of obligation. And just so you comprehend what this means, when you talk to corporations, when you need to remember, first of all, that the de facto, the corporatocracy, according to their own rules, okay, their own UCC code, their Universal Commercial Code, they basically are like, all crimes are commercial crimes, all of them. So they are saying, so this is for them. This is for the American Bar Association and International Bar Association. This is an affidavit of obligation. So when they receive an affidavit, they are required to rebut it. Okay? They actually have to rebut the affidavit within 7 days. Any unrebutted affidavit is a judgment. But let's just read it. Here are the maxims, okay? Number 1, all men and women know that the foundation of law and commerce exists in the telling of the truth and nothing but the truth. Number 2, truth is a valid statement of reality, is sovereign in commerce. Number 3, an unrebutted affidavit stands as truth in commerce. I just told you that it stands as judgment, right? So it stands as truth in commerce. An unrebutted affidavit is acted upon as the judgment in commerce. So see, it's just telling you that again, right? Number 5, guaranteed, all men shall have a remedy by the due course of law. If a remedy does not exist, or if the remedy has been subverted, then one may create a remedy for themselves and endow it with credibility by expressing it in their affidavit. Okay, I'm going to just pause right there for 1 second. Did you know that as a living man, that you are creator in this same space as the ones who created man's law? Did you know that if you're a living man, then man's laws are created by men, living men of substance, right? And so that means that if any man created it, I don't care who it is, the smartest guy, you might think you're the dumbest guy and he's the smartest guy or whatever, because they teach you that there's some smarter than dumber. No, this is nonsense, okay? All of you, all of us, all men, all living men, and that means women too. That means all the progeny, all the sons and daughters of the men, okay? All of us were born worthy beyond belief. You too were born worthy beyond belief and equal to all living men. That means that any man's creation, any creation of man, cannot stand over you. So, therefore, it's important for you to know that if it says right here, right? It says right here, guaranteed, number 5, guaranteed, all men shall have a remedy by the due course of law. If a remedy does not exist, or if the remedy has been subverted, then one may create a remedy for themselves and endow it with credibility by expressing it in their affidavit. See this? Now, when we do an affidavit, we do a testimony in the form of an affidavit. And currently, I am only talking to those of you who are declared. as alive. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you didn't do it. If you have a birth certificate and you haven't declared that you're alive, then, you're part of the zombie apocalypse, all right? You don't know that. You don't know that. But welcome to the conversation about how you are part of the zombie apocalypse, and go back to episode number 1 and start watching it from the beginning, okay? Start watching the podcast from episode 1. So here we go. We're going to continue. Number 6. Ignorance of the law might be an excuse, but it is not a valid reason for the commission of a crime when the law is easily and readily available to anyone making a reasonable effort to study the law. Especially, guys, while we are on this interwebs, on this internet here, and because we're alive right now in the age of information, right? We are inundated with information. And, people want to say, oh, I don't have the bandwidth for this. I don't have, the focus for this. Excuses. Are you done? Are you done arguing for your limitations? Because you actually, in this day and age, you don't even have to read. I'm reading this for you, okay? You don't even have to read. I'm reading it for you. And guess what? You're going to have a recording of this, and you just play it over and over again until you memorize it. If that's what you need to do, then you can. And you can even, there's AI out there. They try to tell you that AI is going to replace living men. No, it's not. This is dumb. How is it possible that a living man of substance going to create something called AI, and then that creation is going to stand over the creator? Do you get to stand over your creator? Can you even do that? No. Come on, let's just stop it. That's silly, right? So ignorance of the law might be an excuse, but it is not a valid reason for the commission of a crime when the law is easily and readily available to anyone making a reasonable effort to study the law. Number 7, all corporate government is based upon commercial affidavits, commercial contracts, commercial liens, and commercial distresses. Hence, governments cannot exercise the power to expunge commercial processes. I want everybody on Africa, my friends on Africa, hello, and everywhere around all the earth. I want you to just see this, okay? Hence, governments cannot exercise the power to expunge commercial processes. That means they can't ignore commercial processes. And did you know that kings, even on Africa, they are in an office and they have to operate. They operate as sovereigns and they operate in commerce. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to provide their kingdom with any wealth, and they would have nothing to trade. They operate in international commerce as sovereigns. So this is an important point for you to know everywhere. Number 8, the legitimate political power of a corporate entity is absolutely dependent upon its possession of commercial bonds against public hazard. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't even understand what this means exactly. The legitimate political power of a corporate entity is absolutely dependent upon its possession. So that means the corporate entity has to have a commercial bond against the public, against public hazard, meaning like they cannot cause harm. I'm just presuming this because, I speak plain English. Wait a minute. Oh, it says this is a verified plain statement of fact. I think that's what that means. Do I have any objections? If you have an objection in the little audience there, you can put a note. But I'm pretty sure that's what that means. It means they don't have any political power, the corporate entity, okay? Like the U.S. corporation, for example, has no legitimate political power. Okay, and they are absolutely dependent upon possession of a commercial bond against public hazard. That means they have a usufructory duty not to cause harm to living men. Usufructory is something different. Maybe you guys don't know that word. Usufruct. This is some, that's some lawful legal language. But commercial bonds, they have to have commercial bonds against public hazard. This is kind of like they have to be indemnifying. Oh, they have to have insurance, y'all, not to cause harm. What? Isn't that fun? They can't cause you harm, all right? So just kind of know that, right? Number 9, no bond means no responsibility, means no power of official signature, means no real corporate political power, and means no privilege to operate statutes as the corporate vehicle. Wow. Okay, that means they have to have a commercial bond against public hazard to have the privilege to operate statutes as the corporate vehicle. So this is basically telling you that if they don't have a bond, they don't have any means. They have means no power of official signature, means no real corporate political power. It means they have no privilege to come after you as a policy officer. Number 10, the corporate legal power is secondary to commercial guarantors. Case law is not a responsible substitute for a bond. Huh. So they have to, brings you back up here. They have to be bonded. They have to be bonded. They have to be bonded. Okay, look, I'm looking in the questions for just a second. Okay, usufruct. Let me see. I think I have that in my notes here. Hold on. Usufruct, like using the fruit. You are not supposed to use the fruit. Use of this franchise, usufruct. Usufruct, the usufructory duty to hold you harmless. I think everybody needs to study the elements of Roman law. Okay. Most of this is ironed out over there, but I don't want to get too far away from Anna's affidavit here. So I would like to get back to that. I don't want to get too far away from that. Okay. But yeah, go ahead and just ask anytime that we say something that you're not too sure about, and we'll make sure. Let me just see if I have anything else I can throw up here real quick for that. Yeah, I think a lot of these other things will take the conversation in a different direction. I don't want to go there yet. So let's just stay right here. This is right. This is right. Use of your credit to hold you harmless of debt. Use of, they have to hold you harmless. Okay. So let's just continue. The corporate legal power is secondary to commercial guarantors. Case law is not a responsible substitute for a bond. 11. Municipal corporations, which include cities, counties, states, and national governments, have no commercial reality without bonding of the entity, its vehicle. They use the bond, which is the vehicle. It's a vehicle for their statutes, and it affects the execution of its rulings. So they can't execute without bond. So number 12, in commerce, it is a felony for the officer, public office, to not receive and report a claim to its bonding company. And it is a felony for the agent of a bonding company not to pay the claim. 13, if a bonding company does not get a malfeasant public official prosecuted for criminal malpractice within 60 days, then it must pay the full face value of a defaulted lien process at 90 days. Except for a jury, it is also a fatal offense for any person, even a judge, to impair or to expunge without a counter affidavit, any affidavit, or any commercial process based upon an affidavit. So when you turn in your testimony in the form of an affidavit, except for a jury, it is also a fatal offense for any person, even a judge, to impair or to expunge without a counter affidavit, any affidavit, or any commercial process based upon an affidavit. Number 15, judicial non-jury commercial judgments and orders originate from a limited liability entity called a municipal corporation, hence must be reinforced by a commercial affidavit and a commercial liability bond. 16, a foreclosure by a summary judgment or non-jury, summary judgment without a commercial bond is a violation of commercial law. I think this will help a lot of people dealing with foreclosure. You're going to want to read and comprehend all of this, okay? Number 17, governments cannot make unbounded rulings or statutes which control commerce, free enterprise, citizens, or sole proprietorships without suspending commerce by a general declaration of martial law. Wait a minute. Governments cannot make unbounded rulings or statutes which control commerce, free enterprise, citizens, or sole proprietorships without suspending commerce by a general declaration of martial law. Is that what they're doing, y'all? It is tax fraud to use courts to settle a dispute, controversy, which could be settled peacefully outside of or without the court. An official officer of the court, policeman, must demonstrate that he or she is individually bonded in order to use a summary process. An official who impairs, debauches, voids, or abridges an obligation of contract or the effect of a commercial lien without proper cause becomes a lien debtor, and his or her property becomes forfeited as the pledge to secure the lien. Pound breach or breach of impoundment and rescue is a felony. It is against the law for a judge to summarily remove, dismiss, dissolve, or diminish a commercial lien. Only the lien claimant or a jury can dissolve a commercial lien. Notice to agent is notice to principal. Notice to principal is notice to agent. 23, public hazard bonding of corporate agent. All officials are required by federal, state, and municipal law to provide the name, address, and telephone number of their public hazard and malpractice bonding company, the policy number of the bond, and if required, a copy of the policy describing the bonding coverage of their specific job performance. Failure to provide this information constitutes corporate and limited liability insurance fraud, 15 U.S.C., and is a prima facie evidence and grounds to impose a lien upon the official personally. to secure their public oath and service of office. So you can lien an officer personally or anybody personally if they don't provide this information, okay? Number 24, this international commercial obligation lien is in part supported and prefaced on UCC-9 102 agricultural liens, UCC 9607 to 610 secured parties' rights to take possession after default with all rights reserved. Okay, and in this situation, when they filed this lien, the lien claimants were Stephen Dwayne Curry as a witness, a crime victim, an injured individual, living being, representing all listed and unlisted and unknown multiple crime victims, injured parties, individuals, living beings, and inhabitants in the territory known as Colorado, on America and elsewhere on all tribal lands. And they share, they have to share their contact information. Anna filed this with them. James filed it with them. Sandra Lee Taylor. I mean, this is the list of people, okay? All this list of people, they were all participants in the lien process. Back in 2015, y'all. This was in 2015, okay? And you can just look this up and read it the way you want to. The lien debtors are the American Bar Association, a corporation, at all, and the International Bar Association, which is also a corporation, at all, in the United Kingdom. The Executive Office for United States Attorneys, the United States Department of Justice, the individual executives, officers, directors, board of governors, commission on governance, committee members as of October 6, 2015, including but not limited to the Department of Justice, Monty Wilkinson, Esquire, and then this long list of all the Esquires, the Commission on Governance, any other additional lien debtors. Okay, and these are the allegations they made, y'all. Number one. Let me see where everybody's at. Let me check the notes. I'm just checking the notes. We know Roman civil law isn't the same as common law. There's so many man's laws. All right, I'm going to continue. Here are the allegations. Number one, the American Bar Association, the International Bar Association, and the Department of Justice are commercial derivations and subsidiaries of the Crown Templar or Temple Crown, whose corporate headquarters is located in the city of London, England. Is this correct? Yes or no? If no, please explain. Number two, in 2007, William C. Hubbard, Esquire, received the American Inns of Court Professionalism Award for the Fourth Circuit. In 2015, he was called to the bench as an honorary bencher of the Middle Temple in London. Is this correct? Yes or no? If no, please explain. Number three, the ABA was founded on August 21st, 1878 in Saratoga Springs, New York, by 100 lawyers from 21 states, and the IBA, established in 1947, now has over 55,000 individuals and 195 bar associations and law societies, and its organization continues to grow. Is this correct? Yes or no? If no, please explain. Number four, the first president of the American Bar Association was its inceptor, creator, and implementer, James O. Broadhead. Representatives of 34 national bar associations gathered in New York on 17th of February 1947 to create the IBA. Was this not an act of sedition, treason, and piracy on land pursuant 18 USC 1651 to 1661? Yes or no? If no, please explain. Number 5, initial membership was limited to bar associations and law societies, but in 1970, the IBA membership was open to individual lawyers, members of the legal profession, including attorneys, solicitors, barristers, advocates, members of the judiciary, in-house lawyers, government lawyers, academics, and law students comprise the membership of the IBA. Is this historical notation correct? Yes or no? If no, please explain. Number 6, James O'Broadhead violated the original and organic 13th Amendment of the Constitution of the pre-1871 Continental lowercase u United States of America when in 1878 he was chosen president of the American Bar Association, which met at Saratoga, New York. In 1882, he was elected as the state's representative to the 48th Congress as a Democrat, and in 1885 was appointed by the government as special agent to make preliminary search of the record of the French archives in the matter of the French spoliation claims. Making his report in October 1885, he was U.S. minister to Switzerland. 1893 to 1897. Do you agree James O'Broadhead committed treason against the continental United States government in forming the ABA and becoming the first president? Yes or no? If no, please explain. Number 7, James O'Broadhead's election and appointment were direct abrogations and usurpations of the 1803 Supreme Court ruling over Marbury versus Madison, wherein John Marshall rendered a majority decision restricting barristers and esquires and other holders of titles of nobility from holding government or public offices, and declared that prescribing giving or taking such oaths of office to these offices was a solemn mockery against the U.S. Constitution, against its people, and was equally a crime. If this is a correct assessment of the foundation and legacy of James O'Broadhead, it stands then that the entire concept, structural design, and the implementation of all contracts, for example, the Electoral College, the lifetime judicial appointments, copyrighted revenue-bearing statutes, codes, rules, ordinances, etc., created by the ABA are fraudulent, malicious, egregious, and corrupt to the ABA's core. Yes or no? If no, please explain. Number 8, Mr. Broadhead's coalition of 100 foreign agents or attorneys who, in concert, collusion, and conspiracy, created, with the encouragement, support, and aid and abetting of Federal Reserve debt banking system, the American Bar Association, in their efforts to federalize, democratize, incorporatize, defraud, and to silently overthrow the righteous and genuine constitutional government of the lowercase u United States, and to subvert, usurp, and to destroy the unalienable, and natural rights of the people and tribal families who resided and inhabited the land established by our nation's founding fathers. Would you agree with this assessment? Yes or no? If no, please explain. Number 9, is it not true then that fraud vitiates all contracts and that all commercial contracts, including but not limited to all unlawful sentences and incarcerations of political prisoners, for example, imprisoned IRS, lien debtors, non-criminal offenders, wherein such commercial contracts were all conceived in fraud and lacking any moral and ethical character, are in direct conflict with natural law and commercial law, and thus every ABA contract since 1882, whether verbal or written, including but not limited to all judicial oaths of office, falsely sworn to, and fraudulently securitized, monetized, and commercialized, are null and void ab initio? Yes or no? If no, please explain in detail. Isn't this fun, you guys? Are y'all getting it? This is fun, right? I think it's fun. Number 10, Our country's founding fathers established our original and organic constitution under the land jurisdiction and not jurisdiction of the sea or Holy See, with various embargoes against acts of piracy, press ganging, personage, slavery, barratry, and other notorious and potentially injurious foreign intrusions, including the Titles of Nobility Act, the 13th Amendment, Bills of Attainder, and other notable and honorable acts and codifications of law that were to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of our government, our lands, and our people. Is this historically correct? Yes or no? Number 11. If your answer to question number 10 is yes, then under what law form or forms was the ABA and IBA and other minions able to subvert and usurp the land jurisdiction with the mere presumption of the jurisdictions of the sea? Please select one or more law forms used. A. Admiralty law. B. Maritime law. C. International law. D. Commercial law. E. Uniform Commercial Code. Roman Curia law. Number 12, the National Lawyers Guild was established in 1937 and, according to historic record, has its origins in the Communist Party. The ABA was in protest of its establishment due to a belief that the NLG was a militant segment of the bar. In comparison to the criminal, unethical, and immoral conduct and activities of the members and individuals of the ABA. The members and individuals of the NLG, again, y'all, that's the National Lawyers Guild, right? Even if they are referred to as communists, are truly saints, as the NLG genuinely and honestly works for the people and not for the corporations, as the ABA does. Is this an accurate description and comparison of the ABA and the NLG? Yes or no? Number 13, during the McCarthy era, the NLG was accused by Attorney General Herbert Brownell Jr., as well as the House Un-American Activities Committee, of being a communist front organization. Federal Bureau of Investigation Director J. Edgar Hoover repeatedly tried to get a successive attorneys general to declare the NLG a subversive organization, but without success. If the ABA was so opposed to the NLG, as alleged, why did the ABA's own attorneys general block the FBI's, Brownell's, and the House of Un-American Activities Committee from prosecuting the NLG when the ABA claims the NLG is, quite simply, quote unquote, a militant segment of the bar or the ABA? Was this protest by members and individuals of the ABA simply a ruse or a red flag operation to cloak the true intent and nature of the ABA, banking elitists that they represent? Like, please be specific in your answers. Number 14, the 1944 HUAC history asserted that the NLG was merely a streamlined edition of the International Juridical Organization, a communist party mass organization established in 1931. Is the ABA and the IBA not also corporate members, associates of the International Juridical Organization? Yes or no? If no, please explain. Number 15, the enactment of the 1948 Administrative Procedures Act following the ABA's 1947 Bar Treaty created a multitude of quasi-government corporate agencies. Both efforts and acts further subverted all legitimate de jure government agencies to bring them under the ABA's corporate judicial control and administration, thus destroying the genuine and lawful executive and legislative branches of the people's government. Yes or no? If no, please explain the intent of these two efforts. Number 16, it is a well-documented fact that the ABA and the IBA are quite simply political organizations with distinct corporate connections to all nations and state bar associations, ends of the courts, and to districts and middle ends. Made up of adjoining state bar associations, and that in order to serve at the bench, all judges from a municipal judge to the justices of the U.S. Supreme Court, according to the Federal Civil Procedures Act, must be members of the bar. Does this interstate districting and the judicial mandating for the seating of judges, justices, and magistrates not violate every nation's state's general laws and rights, abridge individual voter and election rights, abrogate both state and federal constitutions, and completely nullifies the ABA's and the IBA's very own articles of incorporation, policies and procedures, bylaws, and their own professional rules of conduct? Yes or no? Number 17, both the ABA and IBA market their wares and practices as voluntary. Yet, in actual practice and execution, the ABA and IBA, by all lawful and legal definitions, practice what can only be defined as a monopoly over the entire international and United States justice systems, and the ABA dominates the genuine two branches of continental government of the lowercase u United States, are the requirements set forth in the FCPA, then prima facie evidence of this criminal monopolizing of the justice system? And does it not, in fact, encourage and promote the destabilization of the world's governments through judicial and military occupation, political lobbying, social and economic manipulation, and inciting civil protest and unrest? Yes or no? If no, please explain in detail. Number 18, despite the fact that monopolies and other antitrust RICO activities are both unlawful and illegal on the land, and ABA and the IBA knowingly and willingly operate in ultravirus with with total disregard and disdain of human rights guaranteed by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the numerous safeguards built into our state and federal constitutions. These safeguards are built into any number of our maxims of law and our constitutionally derived laws, including 15 USC 1 and 2, which state very clearly and unambiguously the penalties for operating in such a manner. 15 U.S. Code 1, trusts. In restraint of trade illegally, in restraint of trade illegal and penalty, quote unquote, every contract, combination in the form of trust or otherwise, or conspiracy in restraint of trade or commerce among the several states or with foreign nations is declared to be illegal. Every person who shall make any contract or engage in any combination or conspiracy hereby declared to be illegal shall be deemed guilty of a felony, and on conviction thereof shall be punished by fine not exceeding $100 million if a corporation, or if any other person, $1 million, or by imprisonment not exceeding 10 years, or both said punishments in the discretion of of whatever court. That's interesting. For all the people out there who think that they need a trust, and just by the way, like trusts are still incorporated, they're still incorporated items, okay, guys? So if you're declared, then we don't operate in trust. We operate in truth. Anybody who's out there going, oh, trust me. Oh, just, follow me. Oh, just trust me. I know what I'm talking about. Anyone who uses words like that, they're evil and they operate in the corporatocracy. Okay? You should only be operating on the truth. not in trust. We don't care if you trust. You're not supposed to be trusting us. You're supposed to be knowing the truth. You're supposed to have knowledge of the truth. Don't trust people. People are, fickle. Mm-mm. It is your responsibility, yours and yours alone, to use your Shinola sensor, okay? Use your sense of smell and your five senses. It's for you to use your own discernment. You don't need to be worried about what this guy's doing, what that guy's doing, and who you don't have to be following me or Anna or anybody, okay? You have to have eyes to see with and ears to hear with. And, listen, if you don't know how to read, if it's a language, situation, because this is what the corporatocracy has done, is they have made people illiterate and they have created 101 different million languages so that it creates chaos and confusion. This is their MO, all right? Even with all of that, you have your vibrational, unspoken, energetic knowing. Just like when you get to the edge of a cliff, then you can identify danger. You know the truth, okay? You know the truth. So you need to protect your mind. This is all mentalism, okay? It's all mentalism to just mess with your head, okay? This is all about your mind. There is a race to control your mind. And we're not here to try to do it. I'm telling you what you might not be able to read or whatever, just so you can hear it and, in this way, all right? But you know when you have a thought and then how you feel in your heart when you hear it, in your mind, or when you get that idea and then your heart tells you how you feel about it. You have an emotion, okay? So you have a thought and then you have an emotion and then you get to choose if you're going to act, okay? And if you don't feel good, if it doesn't feel good and you act, that is immoral. It is immoral. When you have a thought and it feels good and you act, that is a good action. That is moral. Okay? And truth aligns with morality and lies align with immorality. And if you're just warm or you're just a line walker, if you're fair and balanced, you're full of it, is what you are. It is immoral. If you're the one who's watching people speak lies in front of you and you don't correct them, you are immoral and you will suffer needlessly for it because you will remain enslaved. That's the punishment for being an immoral living being, is you will remain in bondage. You will. And there is a new earth rising. And, as that new earth rises, that new realm, everyone isn't going to be making it to the new realm because you have to have a much higher vibration to be able to join that new earth that is washing away evil. It's done with all evil. It is done with all evil. All right? It is done. So you have to pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to your emotions. Okay? And whatever it is that you're doing, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, I don't get to do all that because, I still have a job and I still have to go make money and blah, 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 blah. Continue arguing for your limitations. All right? If you want to, just keep doing that. That's fine. I'm telling you, I got to do things that I have to do to be able to care for my progeny and for myself. And whatever it is that I have to do, I make sure I do it with clean hands. All right? I do it with clean hands. I do it with a clean heart, and I do it with a clean mind. And you can too. And sure, maybe what you're doing is operating and working for a corporation or the government or whatever, because that's all you know to do right now. And that's fine, as long as you're doing it with a clean heart and clean hands and a clean mind. Don't be an order follower. Don't just do things mindlessly that are causing harm to other people. You can't do that. You can do honest work, okay? There's plenty of honest work. And if you can't figure that out, I know a lot of people that are looking for help all the time who are business owners who are doing clean work. And there's plenty of people I know that don't want to do anything because they'd rather just sit at home and feel sorry for themselves. And guess what? Nobody cares. If that's what you want to do, nobody's judging you. But also stop complaining, because we also don't want to hear it. All right. Let me just continue. This trust thing is a big deal because there's the corporate version of the trusts, right? And you're putting your everything that you own in a trust. And guess what? When you do that, you're marrying all the stuff that you're putting in that trust to the state estate. So if you want them to be in charge of your stuff and you consider yourself to be private, you're not private when you put it in a trust. All right? You're not private. So for the people that are very confused about this whole trust thing, you can't be privately operating and also putting it in a trust. Okay? So there's that. 15 U.S. Code 2, monopolizing trade, a felony penalty, which states every person who shall monopolize or attempt to monopolize or combine or conspire with any other persons or persons to monopolize any part of the trade or commerce among the several states or with foreign nations shall be deemed guilty of a felony, and on conviction thereof shall be punished by fine not exceeding $100 million if a corporation, or if any other person, $1 million, or by imprisonment not exceeding 10 years, or by both said punishments in the discretion of this court. Number 19, used in concert and conjunction with this commercial obligation lien 15 U.S.C. 1 and 2 and the invocation of our crime victims' rights as defined and described under 18 U.S.C. 3771, the ABA, IBA, and the DOJ, by the preponderance of well-documented evidence and by the sheer weight of notable and probable causes already posted in both the private and public records, and individual members of the ABA, the IBA, and the DOJ acting in their corporate capacities are found to be guilty on both counts and are guilty of all crimes described under the piracy codes of 18 U.S.C. 1651, 1661, and under 42 U.S.C. number 14141, clause of action. Would you not agree that the ABA and DOJ enjoys rights, privileges, liberties, freedoms, and pursuits that are not extended to or enjoyed by non-union members? Yes or no? If no, please explain why your laws are not shared by all and why these laws do not apply equally to ABA, IBA, or DOJ executives, directors, officers, members, employees, or their corporate contractors. Number 20. Y'all, I'm only on page 21 of 44. Okay. Are you getting my point here? Look at all this. I encourage everybody to read this. There's a lot here. I could just be talking about this all day. We could just be going through this all day. All right. But I'm going to leave it right here at 21 for right now. I'm going to leave it right here at 21 for just right now, okay? That's what Anna does. That's what Anna is doing. When everybody's like, what is she doing? That's what she's doing. And for all of those people who are out there going, where is her evidence? Where is her evidence of all the stuff that she's doing? Where is all this stuff? Where is it? Well, she has a website, y'all. It's called AnnaVonRights.com. And she has over 5,000 articles. Well, guess what? Some of those articles are these affidavits. That one's 45 pages long. Why don't you go find it? It's all right there. Anna likes to do the podcast for the people who don't read and can't read. And every time that I try to ask her to take a day off, she goes, you need a break, girl? She asked me if I need a break. I'm trying to give her a break because she has a broken foot. She's responsible for all the folks over there on the Federation. And, there's a lot of stuff going on. You have no idea what all she does all day. On top of, staying on top of these corporate crazy people. I mean, she had banking meetings all day. So just because she's not here on the podcast, do not even believe for a moment she's not working. She's not sleeping somewhere, okay? That's what you need to know and believe. If you want to support her work, then her Cash App is right here, running across this little ticker. Her Revolut is there, and then her address has been there the whole show. And a lot of people out there have the nerve to say that Anna just, uses, these, she just shares this information and makes everybody believe she's doing things with no evidence that she's doing anything. And then she just does it for donations. Did you even listen to what I was reading? Have you read any of her articles? If you can't read, then go to the Rumble channel. There's a Rumble channel out there that just reads the articles to you. And if you start listening to it, then all the writing that she is doing is based on research that thousands and thousands of other people are collaborating on with her. If your heart can't receive her heart after you read the first 20 articles on her website, then I'm really sorry. And also, guess what? You don't even have to, nobody has to support her or follow her or do anything that she's talking about. She didn't ask you to follow her. She's not coming chasing after you. And neither am I or anybody. Like, we don't care. But if you're interested in knowledge of the truth, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about here. So it's my encouragement for you guys to go read that affidavit of commerce. Read it. It's a commercial lien that was put up against all the attorneys and the bar and the international bar. Okay. So there's a lot of studying that we have to do. And I heard somebody, I was talking with a friend earlier today who was like, Niti, a lot of times when you're talking, you just are, to me, you sound like, you're saying like, I am smart and you are dumb. And I said to her, I said, well, I don't feel like that. Okay. I don't feel like that. What I feel like is you're mad because I know how to scramble eggs. Okay. And if I teach you how to scramble eggs until you actually scramble eggs, you don't know how to scramble eggs. And the first time that you scramble eggs, you're not going to scramble eggs like me. Okay. And maybe you might get some eggshell in your scrambled eggs. Maybe it's not going to come out as, light and fluffy or whatever. I don't know. But you're going to have to scramble a lot of eggs to be able to scramble eggs like I do, because I've been scrambling eggs for a long time. And I'm not saying that I know all of the law stuff. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that all of us have been doing a different level of study and research. Okay. All of us have been doing a different level of reading and writing of the testimonies in the form of an affidavit or any of these commercial exercises. Okay. And most of us were never taught this, didn't know this is what's happening, right? We have no idea. And the only way you're going to know is to try. So that means that you have to try to write something. You have to try to read something. You know, everybody keeps saying, what is a testimony in the form of an affidavit? Well, go to Anna's site and go to that little bar and put testimony in the form of an affidavit and just see what comes up. Because guess what? There's a lot of information there, including how to do a lot of those things. The thing is that it takes time for us to learn when we should use a testimony in the form of an affidavit. How do you follow up with a testimony in the form of an affidavit? How do you, like, what do you do for all of these things, right? How do you work on that? So it takes time to do that. We just have to give ourselves grace in doing that. So, just do the best that you can. Just do the best that you can. Don't feel any kind of way about it. Okay. Just try. All you can do is start trying. When you just start trying to write it, then it starts to make more sense. When you make an effort to write something, then you'll have to do a little bit more reading, and then you'll come back to it and you'll go back to it and you'll be back and forth, back and forth. And all of a sudden you're going to realize, oh, you're getting better and better at it. Oh, it's making more and more sense. See? So go ahead and make the effort. Start doing some of these searches. Start reading through all those things and take your time and just start working on it. You just start today. Anyway, I hope that this helped to encourage everybody to just get moving on it a little bit, to see, how it's going, and just, try. It's going to take time. I remember when we very initially just did our basic 928 package, we didn't know what we were looking at. We didn't know what it said, and we didn't know how to use it. We didn't know how it was going to benefit us. And now we're so grateful and so appreciative, and it means so much more, So when you are just in the beginning, then just know that this is going to be lifelong learning. And it's going to be coming, and it's going to be a lifelong learning. You just have to take some time and read a little bit every day. And, I encourage everybody to try to read Anna's articles from the beginning. But just remember that a lot of the law that's in there has changed over time, because the law is alive, it's living, it's changing. The history hasn't, the history is the history, but the law itself, there are more efficient, better ways to do all the law. If you're going to be trying to do some type of law action, start at the beginning and read backwards. But you kind of have to have an understanding of what was there from before. So you kind of have to read everything anyway. So it's kind of, kind of gets frustrating that way. Anyway, I don't know what we're going to be doing exactly next week. Please pay attention. I do know that we're going to do the show from now on Thursdays. We're still ironing out the time for it. And so I really, in the meantime, if you miss one of our episodes that are live, there's plenty of the older episodes to review. And, listen to some of the earlier ones again, because what you'll find, I think, is that, you're going to learn how far you've come in what you didn't know then and what you know now. And that's always encouraging as well. Anyway, I hope that you guys have a blessed day, and we will see you next week. Thanks for joining us.